Knowing your path is knowing your soul. Defining your path is defining your soul purpose. Welcome to the Define Your Path podcast show. Hello, faithful, and welcome to the Define Your Path podcast show with DocV. I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc Shazad, the Pivot Maestro, here to power your soul pivot. If you found yourself here, it's for a reason. It's because your soul led you here to remember. We speak to the souls of purpose-driven business owners, divergent thinkers, those who are tapping into their deep intuition, especially to those of you feeling like your soul is being snuffed out. You're hearing that soul call, that summons to stop straddling that fence. We're here to tell you that you do have a choice and you do have a soul purpose, and that it is a better way to live that fulfilled quality life on your own terms. So this show is a place where we're all about helping you face your fears, to love the skin you're in while lifting you into a possibility mindset to serve, profit, and sustain in life and business. Through this platform, we bring stories, folks who are defining their own paths that uplift you, that inspire you, that help you see through our guest spotlights so that you can overcome, you can conquer in mind, body, soul, and business. If we can do it, folks, you can do it. It all starts with you. Find your willpower, find your strength. Do you hear your soul calling? Let's set the scene. Will you be the captain of your fate and the master of your soul? It's time to think without the boxes and pivot, folks, and define your own path. And here to help you with that today is our spotlight, Berni Woods. And I'm so excited to have her here. Let me tell you a little bit about Berni before we bring her into the spotlight. First and foremost, Berni Woods is a proud single mom to two high school kids, a wellness-inspired educator, and the founder of Trade My Way, a space that aids you in your health, fitness, and wealth creation. Berni has had a variety of businesses and diversified skills she's collected over the years. She's shifted from personal training to gift boxes to distilling, and now she's driving herself to create a legacy for her family and other families wishing to escape the matrix. I love this woman already. Helping people in some shape or form has always been at the heart of who she is and what she does. And entrepreneurship found her in a space that she knows will have incredible impact on the lives of thousands of people in generations to come. Her love for connecting, nurturing people, and situations has given her a rewarding and purposeful life. And I tell you what, girl, I just love you to death already in just the time we've known each other. So, Berni, welcome to this show. Welcome to Define Your Path podcast.
Thank you so much, Virginia. As soon as we met, I just knew that we are, two peas in a pod. So I absolutely love what you're doing. I love that it's heart-centered and driven for people that, want the same thing for their family and their community. It is about helping other people, and, rubbing shoulders with people that spark you as well. I think with all of the diverse career that I've had, there's certain industries, certain, styles of businesses that, if they're not sparking your fire, that's not for you. You've got to find that thing that lights you up so that you can pass on that light to other people.
Girl, you get it. I love it. I love it. So I'm excited just to have you share a bit about your story. We'll unpack it in candid conversations, which I'm super excited for with you. And so we just look forward to hearing how you've embraced your fears. You've made them your ally and found the true you to walk in your soul's purpose. So my audience knows we only ask two questions, and then you and I will just flow through those two questions. And the first question is, how have you defined your path? And how do you help others define theirs? So, Berni, you have the spotlight, sis.
Thank
How do
you.
you define your path?
How do I define my path? I think a lot of it comes back to what I'd love to do. And you whatever it is, I don't care what it is. You have to be passionate about it because
Yes.
if you're not, you're living unpurposefully,
Yes.
and people are going to feel that in you. And
Mhm.
you've got to, there's a meme that says something along the lines of you've got to be so passionate about something that people are going to think you're crazy. And I'm sure people
Yes.
think I am crazy.
Yeah.
But, it's infectious as well. You want
Yeah.
to be around people that are driven and they believe and they're, like I said, purposeful and
Yes,
passionate
ma'am.
because we all want that, feeling of feeling, amazing and happy and
Yeah.
connected. So I think
Yeah.
for me with the fitness and wellness industry, that's what makes me feel that way. And I
Hmm.
love, sort of helping people get back to the bare basics of you got to look after yourself. Your body, yes, God made us in this perfect form,
Yeah.
but we're not really looking after ourselves essentially. So, for
Yeah.
me to be able to help people see that and show them that there is another way, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's not just about, your nutrition and your movement, because I just turned 50 this year and this is, the defining point where everything kind of went to, my body was like, okay, you're 50 now, so we're going to change everything you know about what you do in life.
Yeah.
So, things happen in your life for a
Yeah.
reason, and people happen in your life for a reason, just like I
Yeah.
met you. This
Girl.
opportunity came to me. And so,
Mm.
and now we're sharing our story, and,
Yes.
it's a butterfly effect, I think, which I love,
Yes.
because being around people that are open and,
Mm. That
inquisitive, because knowledge is power.
knowledge is
We're all,
power. Hmm.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
always learning,
Yes.
and be open to other people because
Yes.
more often than not, they're going to know a little bit more than you. So, it's how you expand your horizons, really. So,
Girl.
um,
Yeah, you're already speaking my language. Like I feel like we're already starting our candid conversations.
yeah,
So I'm trying to hold myself here because yes, I
yeah,
have so many things swirling in my head right now.
I bet.
But
I love it.
I love like what you do and your passion driven and just, about people. It's so important as you've already said. I wonder if you'd care to share, was that a seed planted in your childhood early on? Or have you always known that you were meant for something bigger or more or to follow your passions? Because, so many of us get put on these paths, right? That we don't choose. Other people place them on and we think we're making choices, but then we're just following along because of what we think we're supposed to be doing, our expectations and programming and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I guess literally from when I was little, and, it's a story that I've dug up from my memory banks,
Mhm.
literally whilst I've been on this path, that um, when I was in primary school, I was able to do more tricep dips in the school gym than the
Ooh,
boys. And so that was like the ignition. And it was like, I'm talking, year four kind of thing. Like it would have been one or two, but it's something that has stemmed from that far away
yeah,
ago, I suppose. And then I was really active with horses. So, there's a lot of fitness involved in, looking after,
yeah.
horses. So, and
I
it's just
didn't
kind of
know
followed
that.
on. Oh,
I
right.
didn't
Yeah,
know that
I'm a
about
horse
you.
nut.
My daddy was a jockey. So yeah.
Oh, stop. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
any kind of like reels that come up with horses, I'm like glued.
I'm
They're
sorry, I didn't mean
just,
to interrupt you, but
yeah.
back to your story.
So I guess the fitness side of things has always been with me. And the older that I'm getting, the more that I'm seeing people are not looking after themselves and they're, prioritizing work over,
Yeah.
health and fitness, which is where sort of Track My Way comes in. It's like, what are you trading into your life?
Mhm.
What should you be trading out of your life and replacing it with? So
So
the older that we're getting, our bodies aren't functioning as well as they used to. So we have to pivot. It's like
yes.
anything, in business, in life, as
Hmm.
parents, you got to be always looking at finding a way to
Yes.
get around, just like
Yes.
we had earlier today.
Yes.
You have little roadblocks in life. You've got to pivot
You
and find a
pivot.
way around it.
Over,
So,
under, through it, one way or another. Yes, I love
yes,
that girl.
yes.
Yeah, and you were just rolling with me, like ride or die. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And nobody's really watching, and I think we get so caught up in our own heads that, we're worried about what other people think. It's like, don't,
Oh my goodness.
that's done. Those days are
Speak on
over,
it. Yes. No, I love
So
it.
yeah, I think it's definitely defining, moments that do change your trajectory
Yes.
and put you on a completely different path. It's
Yes.
just choosing that right path, I suppose. And the older we're getting, the wiser we're getting. So the choices are different. So, you kind of look back and think, oh gosh, I wish I had have known then what I know now.
Girl,
But,
look, I
today
can.
is today, the first start of, potentially the rest of your life. So
That is
yeah.
so good. I love that. I mean, look at it like today is the first day. That's such a
Mm.
beautiful thought. So I imagine like when you are, so for our second question, how do you help others define their path? Let's just go ahead and throw that out there and so we can just flow through it all because, yes. So, because I'm feeling led that way. So when you were younger, you were outperforming, performing the men or the boys rather.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now in your serving, do you work with just women? Do you work with men as well? Both? Um, yeah, what does it look like to enter into like your ecosystem and what you do and yeah. So let me let you start there.
It's inspiration, really,
Mhm.
because I think people get to a certain age and they think, "Oh, I probably shouldn't be doing that now. I should be in the garden, or I should be, knitting in the lounge room," because
Mhm.
the amount of times that I've heard that story, that people are told, well, you are of age now, you probably need to start winding down. It's like, that's the worst advice you could possibly give anybody, because
Right.
once you start slowing down,
Yes,
it's a slippery slope.
it is. And what is of
So
age anyway?
yeah, totally, exactly. And I do feel that, we're getting younger as we're getting older.
Hmm.
This generation, we're very different to the Golden Girls, which I know that is, a
Hmm.
meme that's going around, that we're
Yeah,
very, very different.
yeah.
But we've got so much more in our life to be able to tack onto to make our lives more fruitful and healthier, and so that when we do live longer, we're
Hmm.
living healthier, because
Right.
who wants to be sick for the last 20 years of your life?
Uh,
I certainly
Girl,
don't want to. So,
no.
if I can help inspire people and show them what I'm doing
Yes.
to help them improve their life, because sometimes you don't know what's out there,
Mm-mm.
right?
You
So
don't.
by sharing, what I'm doing, just through exercise and, frequency and a little bit of diet. Um, I'm no professional, but it's also not rocket science either. But it's, do you know what I mean?
Girl, I love you. Right.
It's not as hard as you think. And so
Yeah.
if you can just, grab some inspiration from somebody who's, midlife, I want the next 20, 30, heaven forbid, 40 years. I mean, that's a long time. But I still want to be lifting weights and looking like an idiot in the gym, doing all sorts of crazy things. But,
Yeah.
that's the fun in life, isn't it? I think once you
Yeah.
get to a certain point, you look forward and you just think, you know what, whoever's watching, I don't really
Yeah.
care.
Totally.
Welcome to the show.
Exactly, exactly. It's literally arriving at that place of soul freedom, for,
Mm,
me and like, from kind of the standpoint of which I would speak about it, and I love the fact that you're not afraid, you embrace change, right? And change can be great, right? Not just good. It's not a bad thing. So many people fear change.
mm.
So it sounds like you're helping folks who are getting older, right? I'm not gonna say come of a certain age,
Oh, yes.
because like, I just
No, we'll
turned
scrap
52.
that.
So, so you're not you're helping them basically embrace that. It sounds like, you're working from the mind, the body, the soul piece to keep them healthy in their
Mm.
physical body. Is
Yeah.
that
Yes.
more or
Yes.
less?
And, as I said before about pivoting, it's not
Yeah.
until you learn new information that you just think, oh my gosh, light bulb
Yeah.
moment.
Yes,
It's like even
totally.
if I wasn't open to this, or if I didn't, say yes to learning about something new, I'm not going to know about it, which means you're not going to know about it. So,
Yes.
it's not closing conversations down and meeting people and being open to that. I wrote an article about a year ago
Uh-huh.
saying, you've got to say yes to people and say yes to opportunity because you just
Yeah.
never know where it's going to take you.
Girl, look, and we're sitting here, right?
Totally,
We're
exactly,
living
exactly.
witnesses, right? You know, it's not,
Yes.
it's, I guess the goal that we should be striving for is to not miss the signs when they appear,
Hmm.
right? Or the signals, for our closed-mindedness or our programming, or, whatever that may be. And, I'm a woman of faith, and, and so sometimes even like religious dogma or teachings can affect your ability to actually, experience your heaven here on earth, right? To get your healing through alternative means, right?
Yeah.
So, it's fascinating what you do. I would love for you to talk more about just the frequency. We've talked a bit about it, just healing through frequencies. And people don't realize that we're literally energy. Right. We're
Yeah.
literally, we operate on frequencies and vibrations and all of that. And this is how we, it, how we move in the world, right? So, do you want to talk a little bit about that as well? And it would be fascinating to have a conversation about how that works, how it intertwines with the physical workout, right? The traditional.
Yeah. And I'm as I've discussed with you in a previous conversation, I'm very much an advocate for eat well and move well. I've
Yeah.
always had that philosophy,
Yeah.
but there's more to it than that.
Yes.
It's the fifth element essentially. So,
Mhm.
frequency, when we're separate from the Earth's geomagnetic field, that's where our energy becomes depleted and low and our cells are operating properly. So
Yeah.
being able to have access to technology that was designed by NASA, I think it's good enough for us.
Girl,
So,
yes, yes.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is pretty phenomenal, and that's technology moving forward. So, if you're not open to experiencing or listening or learning about something new, you're
Yeah.
going to get left behind. And so, for me, anything that's going to make me feel better and
Yeah.
perform better, I'm all over it like a rash. So,
Yeah.
for me, at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
when I turned 50, things just
Yeah.
kind of went a little bit pear-shaped, which I
Yes.
was quite most unhappy about.
Yeah.
But, I'm getting older, so my body's not functioning as well. So I needed to fix that because I wasn't happy with the low energy,
Yes.
and not being able to train and just dragging my feet. It just, it's not happiness at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
No, I love it.
frequency just shakes up your blood cells.
Hmm.
So as the Bible said, blood is life. So
Yeah.
if we're not, looking after our blood, none of our organs are getting looked after. All right.
Yes, girl. And I
So
love, because again, it's like, literally the Bible says we don't live, man doesn't live by bread alone, right? So,
mm,
so yes, we have the spiritual side of us, right, that feeds us, that keeps us, our spiritual side, and leads, guides us or what have you, but we're more than literally we're the mind, body, soul. I keep going back to
mm,
that. And
mm.
so, my husband says all the time, people used to think tractors were witchcraft, right? So,
Yeah,
for people who,
yeah,
who see anything new or anything
yeah,
different or like a frequency machine or,
yeah.
just, energy healing or whatever, it's that same thought, it's that same kind of closed mind. But, you have to have your
Mm,
own revelation, right? So, no judgment or condemnation, just,
yeah,
like I said, already
yeah.
having that candid conversation because it's through conversations like this, understanding how people have defined their own path, how they've made their discoveries, their ahas and revelations, what have you, that brings it to you, right? When you live in
Mm,
these closed boxes or these shells or what have you,
mm.
you know,
There's no
r-
growth there.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
no breakthrough. So, it's fascinating, just looking at and living life from this perspective.
Mm.
It's like the fullness, the wholeness of who we are. We're soul, we're flesh and blood, and we have to
Mhm.
exist in this world, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and
interesting
we're
to
all connected. We're all connected,
oh
like God made this planet and this universe
yeah.
perfectly. And so with us and the way things are going, with
Mm-hmm.
us, living and working in a concrete jungle, we're not getting the Earth's frequency, we're not walking barefoot anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so our energy level, we're detaching ourselves, I suppose, and
Yeah,
that's where NASA came up with this because the
totally.
astronauts would leave, into outer space and they'd have zero frequency from the Earth. So NASA designed this to support bone density and also to, stop muscle atrophy. So
Yeah,
again, it's like, oh, it's just incredible.
yeah,
But you know what was more shocking is that Albert Einstein, all those years ago,
yeah.
predicted that frequency medicine is the medicine of the future. Like, is that just mad? Like, let's it's like, where have we been living all this time? We've been living under a rock.
Girl, I was
So
about to say under rock, in
yeah,
boxes, all of that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. So,
A lot of what I talk about and think about to help people come out of, and I think I might have even shared it in the intro, is to come stop thinking with boxes, right? Even like, there's a saying about, oh, think outside the box. Well, you're still thinking with a box. And that box is
mm,
still affecting and keeping you tethered and affecting your opinions and perspectives and
mm,
all of that, right?
mm, mm,
It's like when we literally stop thinking with it, kick it out of sight or whatever, and like really get in touch with ourselves, our inner being, that, where we can reconnect. I love what you said about detaching, in the respect of the conversation about, what NASA's research and all that and findings, because we detach from our souls.
mm,
And that's like our connection to the divine and life, life
mm,
itself, and it affects our body and our mind so much. But we're not
mm,
talking about that enough because, oh,
mm.
whatever reasons, and the powers that be, and these constructs that we've created to divide and separate us, as opposed to
Yeah.
understand and get to know and, have these
Mhm.
conversations.
Yeah, yeah. And as much as the world's always changing and evolving,
Mhm,
it's always going to stay the same, I
mhm.
suppose. And it's, having something like this technology that was God-given,
Yeah,
this company was given that idea
yeah.
to create this for the world. It was made during COVID for obvious reasons because the world was broken and it
Mm,
needed healing.
mm,
So to be able to tap into something like this,
mhm,
it still blows my mind. And the
mhm.
amount of people that are healing from this is so
Yeah.
heartwarming and beautiful because the answer's not in a prescription. We just need to get back to basics.
Girl, oh my
It's
gosh.
that
Yes.
simple.
It's
Yeah.
it's that simple, and I want to talk. We're going to talk about that in the candid
Yeah.
conversations because that's a huge part of just our mission with defining paths is getting back to basics, understanding how we were supposed to interact, connect, function, in this world, and get back to that healthy place and space. But anyway,
Mhm.
again, uh, I
We
want to
could
get
go
back
on
to
forever.
you, right? I want to get back to you and just like so do you serve also a specific age range, or is it just anyone who enters in with issues who's looking for what
Yeah,
you do?
it's people that are open-minded. That's it. I'm not chasing anybody. If you want to
I love
learn,
it.
my door's wide open. I'm happy to put your feet on the machine. I'm here. I'm on tap to anyone. If
Yes.
you want it, you got to, because that's the frequency. Do you know what I mean? And,
Yes.
and that's this whole wellness space. It's so different. The way that everybody thinks, we're just wanting to nurture and heal and
Mhm.
wrap people up because people are broken, they're sick, they don't know, they don't know what else to do. I saw
Yeah.
my dad, he toward the end, like even the last few years, due to blood issues, heart issues, lung issues.
Mhm.
He kept being given prescriptions to fix the last prescription to the side effects for that one, and it's like that's just not, he would have like a whole handful of medication, and
Yes.
that's just all toxic crap that's going into his body.
Hmm.
Like, where's that going?
Right.
You know, and that
Right.
would affect you mentally. It would affect, the way your blood performs. Like, it's
Totally.
just a ricochet effect that we're not looking after ourselves, and it's, preventative medicine,
Right.
essentially. I don't want to get
Exactly.
sick, so I'm putting this in place to
Right.
make sure that my blood's functioning properly. I know it sounds a little bit woo-woo, but when you see
Hmm.
the what this frequency does to your blood and the purpose of your blood for your hormones in your brain, your functioning of everything in your body, again, it just makes sense. So for
Yeah.
me, naturally is the way to go.
Yes. No, I tell you, that's how I healed this the past 4 years. I had been walking there. I think I shared that with you, just my own
Mm,
health issues and
yeah.
and it was going the natural route that
Mm.
started to pull me back and and just ushered in that bodily healing in addition to just my own inner reconnecting my soul, right, that had been snuffed out in the workplace and you
Sure.
know
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
And I
so
completely, yeah,
yeah,
that happened
right.
to me as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. And then that starts like the decline in the body also because stress kills. And I'm gonna
100%.
keep
Yeah.
shouting that from the rooftops because people don't realize
Totally.
that and doctors don't tell us that,
Yes.
And I know they're busy, well-meaning, and then they're trained a certain way. But if we could just figure out if folks just understood that and what
Mhm.
stress looks like and how it manifests in the body, what it feels like, right? Because
Yeah.
we'll brush it aside,
Yes.
and ignore it because of our type A personality or, expectations again and all this other stuff.
We don't have time. We
Mhm.
don't have time to go and heal naturally. It's like, let's get to the doctor to give us a script to just so I can pop something because I've got to go to work
So
tomorrow.
I can
I don't
keep
have
doing,
time
right.
to fall out. But
Totally.
it's like it's almost too late then. Like, your body's giving
Yes.
you warning flags.
Mhm.
Something's wrong. Don't put a band-aid on it. They're going to get louder. And
Right.
at what? You're going to be sick, diseased, illness in
Mhm.
hospital. Like, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So, take a
Yeah.
step back and try and give your body a chance to
Hmm.
function
Totally.
naturally the way it's meant to, because oh my God, the change in myself in the last 5 weeks that I've had this machine
Yeah.
is, going from insomniac and, waking up with anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, that's so bad for my body. But
It is.
now I'm sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night on this thing. So, it's really just it's unzipped the
Yes.
stressful jacket that I had on for whatever reason. Um, and it's just, yeah, it's leveled me out, but given
Yeah.
me energy. It's a weird concept to sort of explain, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough about it.
Well, and I don't see it being weird at all, because it's when you walk through it, right? When you've come through it, it's very real, and when life happens, I mean, it's like I can totally resonate with everything you said, girl. And so I'm just grateful that you found your purpose and you're walking in it and you're keeping your joy and you're healthy and you look fabulous. And and you are just
Big
bringing
day.
light and love into the world, helping people have
Oh,
a healthy body, inside and out. So absolutely brilliant. Sis, I want to make sure you have time to just share any last thoughts before we close out. And I'm so looking forward to having a candid conversation with you as well.
definitely. Thank you so much for your time. I absolutely love everything you're doing. I think, the last sort of closing remarks um, is just to give yourself a chance. I think you get so caught up, like you said, in the box and feeling a certain way, but
Yeah.
it's not until you actually, and you hear it so many times, it's not until you step outside and you look after yourself, you give yourself an opportunity, you look back and you think, oh my God, how was I surviving? You forget what it feels like to feel good. I think that's probably, where I'm headed.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not until you do feel good, it's like, wow, like I was not functioning. I was low vibing. I was on low frequency. I wasn't even I wasn't purposeful to the world.
Yeah.
You're no good to anyone if you're not firing all cylinders and making a difference in other people's lives on a positive
Yes,
respect. So yeah,
absolutely.
just give yourself the credit and the value that you need because God made you for a reason. So
Yes.
don't be locking yourself away.
Yeah.
People need you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Girl, I love that. That was a mic drop. Give yourself a chance. Folks, drop that in comments. Give yourself a chance. Audience, be sure to follow Berni Woods on social media. You can see her information in our show notes and our live hub. Reach out for a discovery, and just take care of yourself, right? In mind, body, soul, right? And then for you business owners, your business is you and you are your business. So remember that. So thank you so much for listening on your preferred podcast platform or right here on the Defining Paths International YouTube channel at Defining Paths Online. Again, be sure to reach out to Berni. As you can see, she is a jewel. I'd like to thank my husband, the team for just supporting and always bringing these life inspiring conversations to help change your life so you can define your own path. Again, be sure to see what we have going on at definingpaths.online. And faithful in closing, my question and call to action for you. What are you waiting for? Make the choice. Face and embrace the fear. Make it your ally and move into action. Life is way too short. Live it, right? Get into purpose driven business. Get into whatever your passions are, right? You define your own path. And trust in communities like Bernie's, like ours at Defining Paths, because we operate with true transparency and love, and we will take care of you and help you navigate those waters so that we can put you back in business, literally and figuratively. So remember, success, it's important to build your success on a firm foundation. And once again, this is Berni Woods. I'm Doc V, the Pivot Maestro in your corner woman right here on DYP. Like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you share this episode and set those notifications to stay plugged in. Remember, always be true to you and define your path in mind, body, soul business. And we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you again so much, Berni. It's been a blast.
Thank you, gorgeous girl. God bless everybody.